All right, I want to ask you a question. Have you ever had a friend or a loved one, somebody close to you, maybe even a coworker? They come to you with a problem, with something going on in their life, and they're just reeling over it. You can just see it in their eyes, and they're hurting. And you were able to sit down, take a deep breath, walk them through it, give some great advice, craft an amazing solution to get them out of it. But you also, when you have a problem, we have a tough time coming out of it. We have a tough time coming up with those solutions, coming up with the advice, right? Sometimes even we give that advice and it's maybe the advice we need to hear, but we don't even take it. Are you the type of person that maybe you give so much love, compassion, and encouragement to others, but forget to give it to yourself? Well, if any one of those scenarios that you could say yes to, I just want you to know you're not alone. It's normal. This is all part of the human experience. What I want to tell you is in psychology, they call it Solomon's paradox. You see, King Solomon, everybody would go to him for advice and he would help so many people. He always had this incredible advice. But the truth was, he didn't take it himself, that he could give it to others, but he wasn't taking it himself. And so thus the paradox. So let's talk about that for a second, because I think becoming your optimal self, getting on to being the best version of you, right, is which we all are here, which we know the reason is so that we can help and inspire others to do the same. But I want to tell you, like, I've had the same thing. These that you're hearing now, whether it's digitally on a podcast, or maybe you're catching us live in the Facebook group or on YouTube, and these didn't exist. And yet I was coaching people. I was coaching a young kid through in business and in life. And one of the things that we were constantly working on is getting his content out there, letting people see him, helping people, showing people that he knew and has great content and can help. And yet I wasn't taking the advice myself. I was coaching them and I wasn't even doing it, right? There's the paradox. We're all guilty of it. So what I want you to think about is, this is truly, it's normal. That's how we all are. It's that sometimes the message or advice we're set to give is the one we need to hear. And so I want to take you through a little bit, because the next time you're in turmoil, the next time you're alone with your thoughts, what in psychology, what they talk about is called distant self-talk. And you must remove yourself from yourself for a second. Pretend to be a fly on the wall, watching yourself even behave in that moment. Because then you can create some distance. You can create some distance from the situation. It's the same thing that happens when somebody comes to you, is that you have distance from the problem. You have distance from there. So it allows me the opportunity to see a possible solution. And so now if we can do that for ourselves, and we can let that self-talk be as if I was talking to another person. You see, athletes do this all the time with alter egos. Their core personality, their core person is somebody different, right? So they step into that greatness because they don't have to fear being themselves. They can go be the Black Mamba. They can go be MJ. They can go be Primetime, whatever that is. It's the same psychological programming, right? It allows myself distance. But so how do we use that? How do us just everyday people, right? What we want to be able to do is distance ourselves, allow some space so you can coach yourself through the problem. It's almost like a psychological jiu-jitsu. And I'll share with you again, it happens to us all the time, right? I love the mornings. Doesn't mean I love every morning. And there are those days when maybe I don't want to get up. I'm not ready to fly out of bed and hydrate and breathe and get my movement on. So I'm sweaty and I have a great morning and read and all these things, right? That we do every morning. But yet, how do I get through that? And when I heard this the other day and I was researching it, and I was like, oh, wow, I kind of do that myself in the morning. So I want to give it to you. Because in the morning, when I don't want to get up or when I don't want to do those things, I literally say to myself, I call me by my first and my middle name, right? One that maybe Nana or my mom would have used when I was a kid, not for such the greatest moment, right? When they're not so happy, right? We all have that. Your mom, when the middle name comes out. But I would say to myself, Jeremy Michael, that's not who you are. That dude gets up. That dude's going to show up. That dude's going to go down there and crush those weights. That dude's going to grab that Himalayan sea salt. He's going to grab that lemon. He's going to cut it. He's going to put it in that water so he's hydrated, so he is high-powered today. You see, these little tiny tricks of the trade, we can adopt, we can adapt, we can take it. So when you hear these things, how can you get through it? Because right now, if you're struggling, it's not working. Right? Our current self-talk, our current internal narrative is stopping us. It's not helping us. So the best thing that you can do is remove yourself from yourself. Because that dude gets up. That girl does this, does that. So distance yourself, right? Again, it's cool. Research it. Take a look because it's really fun to read. There's some really cool research papers out there that go deeper into it. And I don't want to go too deep today with you. I want to just give you the opportunity to say, oh, wow, yes, I have been able to help somebody else through a problem, but yet I can never help myself. Well, it's time to distance yourself from the problem. It's time to take that breath. It's time to take that second, right? And again, create the space so that you can actually talk yourself through it, right? Talk yourself through it, coach yourself through the problem, the moment. Create a little psychological jiu-jitsu on yourself. Put that move on yourself. That way you can step in and step into the best version of you. Step into your optimal self. Because he or she is in there. It's just a matter of getting the control center, getting the process, getting that ready so that I know in an instant, all I got to use is that term, that name, that person. Now listen, you got to be careful because you can do it both ways. You got to be able to give yourself some grace. You got to be able to give yourself some love, some compassion. Love yourself, encourage yourself like it's somebody that you love. Take that with you. All right? That's what I got for you today. Let's play a little psychological jiu-jitsu. Put that little distant self-talk on you tomorrow morning when it's ready to get up and you don't want to do it. Nah. Call it out. What's the name? Jeremy Michael, that guy. Get your ass up. All right? Hope you guys have an awesome night. As always, please jump over to optimalself.today. Please get your stuff in there because it's growing. New stuff coming out all the time. And I'd love to see you in there. Love to share some time with you. So as always, until next time, get out there and be the best version of you.